Oh, we have another report coming in.
This is crazy. I made a video last night about these two moms from Kentucky who were on a Carnival cruise and made a stop at Grand Bahama. And apparently 2 of the staff members there slipped some DRUGs into their drinks and then SA'd them. Well, the resort and the cruise line is saying that their story is completely wrong and that they made this whole thing up.
Hey guys, welcome back to Gets It Out. Let's get right to it. Now today I have a video from Melanie King, and this video is titled "Two Moms Regret Getting Piped by BBC on Girls Trip, Then After They Claim SA." Yes, women are still doing this, and these women were grown. But I'm not going to hold you. Let's get into it. This installation here is from Melanie King, y'all. Be sure to go there and show some love. Let's get right into it.
Now, a new travel warning. 2 women were drugged and assaulted while on vacation in the Bahamas, unaware the State Department had issued a travel advisory in the area. Eva Pilgrim has the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. These 2 moms say they thought they were doing all the right things to be safe. They were in a pair. They didn't take drinks from strangers. They weren't drinking in excess. But this morning, they say their drinks were drugged at a Bahamian resort and they were attacked. The FBI now investigating. Amber Shearer and Dengalia Dobson were on their first kids-free vacation on board a Carnival cruise.
We've been best friends for over 20 years, and we decided we were going to make this our girls' trip.
On the last day of their trip, they stopped at a local resort on Grand Bahama Island, a resort they say the cruise ship recommended. Once there, the mothers claimed they were offered a 2-for-1 drink, which they accepted, but immediately fell ill.
After the first drink, we had to get out of the ocean because we noticed that it was just hitting so hard. I just felt so out of it.
Shearer and Dobson say they lost consciousness and allege that after drinking the drugged cocktails, members of the resort staff.
Only thing is, like, when you're drinking, right? Like, if you were out of sorts, you don't start thinking, especially when you're drunk, oh, let me get out of the ocean because I'm drunk. You have fun. You're like, ah! That's what I'm thinking, right? Am I wrong? You tell me.
Sexually assaulted them.
I vaguely remember glimpses of his face. I don't remember all of it. I don't remember everything, but I remembered enough of that he was a staff worker and he had a goatee and he was a local, that the resort security were able to go pull the footage and identify them right then and there.
They say there were bruises on their legs and that they tested positive for various drugs. The Royal Bahamas Police posting on Facebook confirming 2 men were arrested for sexual assault of 2 women and that an investigation is underway. Shearer and Dobson say that's not enough. They're back in the U.S. demanding justice. The State Department issued a level 2 travel advisory for the Bahamas in late January due to an increase in homicides and violence.
It's extremely important if you're going to go overseas.
Also having
2 guests on Carnival Elation reported to Bahamian police that they were assaulted at a local beach. Considering that now, their advice for other women, stick to groups of 4 or more when traveling.
Well, hey there, GMA. Also have an obligation to make sure that the areas that they're recommending to passengers, to tourists, are safe.
Carnival due to an increase in homicides and sexual violence.
Hey guys, it's your girl Melanie, and it looks like there's 2 moms who went on a girls' trip alone without their husbands or children. And somehow it turned into 2 random staffers at a resort while they're on a cruise decide to just drug them down and them randomly. What is the world coming to? Men everywhere are just so dangerous. But what's that you say? What's that you say, Bob? Oh, we have another report coming in.
This is crazy. I made a video last night about these 2 moms from Kentucky who were on a Carnival cruise and made a stop at Grand Bahama. And apparently 2 of the staff members there slipped some DRUGs into their drinks and then SA'd them. Well, the resort and the cruise line is saying that their story is completely wrong and that they made this whole thing up. So the resort is called Pirates Cove, and they have 16 cameras around the resort.
Woo! That thing. See when they have 16 cameras in the resort, and resorts make sure of it, right? it's kind of like you go on a cruise ship. A lot of times those resorts are connected to cruise ships. They take a long cruise ship, they go around and they take you to a resort, or if not that, cameras, 16 cameras. That's like a person having 16 cameras in New York City, right? Say you do a crime and they got camera here, there, because you know New York is a police city. There, here, there. 16 shots to see all kinds of angles. So they see from here, here, there. So 16 ways to see that you're lying. They got you.
And it basically captured everything. And this account on the Book of Faces has a video that's just full of information. But basically, they said upon further review of their surveillance videos, the allegations made on site and in subsequent social media posts and news stories conflict with what the time-stamped surveillance videos contain. As such, the lengthy videos of all concerned have been handed over to the local police and will be shared with our industry partners as needed. And then the resort goes on to say that the two guys were terminated, but because they violated the zero tolerance policy.
So just so you know, these guys were not terminated because they did anything to these women. It's just they in the surveillance, it was found that they did other things that were against company policy and at the resort. But as you can see here, we saw these two victimized hot girl summer thought box women that decided to go on a girls trip. And we all know what happens on the girls trips. They're in the Bahamas. They wanted to get some BBC. They wanted to get piped down away from their small Midwest town and their boring husbands and their boring life. And of course they went here to get blacked. And that's exactly, in my opinion, that's exactly what happened. And then of course they come back and spin a victim's narrative that all this happened to them. And I have no idea why. I rack my brain all the time in trying to figure out, why would a woman do something like this? Is it because they slept with them without using protection, and perhaps they could have caught something, so they're thinking we have to come up with a story about
babies? Somebody up in them. Yep, that baby. Take the baby out of me. It's his. It's that animal's.
this, or perhaps they wanted to get money for a lawsuit. They regretted it the next day. These men, it wasn't as good as they thought. I don't know. I come across so many stories of women just lying on men, making up false allegations of rape. And this is very serious because there are real women that have gone through this. There's women and men that have gone through this. And we are not going to keep believing these victims because hot boxes like these, absolute city girls like this, decide to go somewhere. And then, we have to bring in the racial component in this as well. These two white Midwest moms decided to go they're in this other country, in Bahamas, a poorer country, knowing that they have a higher economic status than these men, knowing them being two white moms, they're going to be believed. And again, you guys know I don't make everything about race, but this just shows the entitlement of the Western feminists and why men around the world cannot trust the Western feminist, cannot trust the Western woman, no matter what color she is. This is her MO. If it suits her, if it's something that she can gain from making a false accusation on you, she is going to believe. All she has to do is shed a few crocodile tears, claim that you did something, and then you will be charged. You will be fired. You will be arrested. You will have your life ruined, your reputation ruined. They just so happen to actually have surveillance footage. Imagine how many men have been locked up, falsely accused, and things have happened to them. They've been imprisoned. And because there is no footage, they just believe the word of this woman. And because she's a woman, well, of course, she must be a victim. How many times does this have to happen before we actually change the laws, before we actually have to have evidence? They will usually these women came forward, but normally the victim's name will be held private even after she's found to be lying. She's still seen as a victim while the man's name and face and likeness is blasted all over the place. And we know that accusation alone will crucify him and destroy his life. I don't know how any man in the world is still dealing with a Western woman.
Here's a timeline according to their footage. The girls entered the property at 8:17 in the morning.
And guys, I gotta let you know, she's right. When only women get away with this. And also, what makes it even worse, they're white woman. They could do no wrong.
They were greeted by staff at 8:24. Then at 9:40, one of the girls met with one of the guys who's being accused. Then at 10:06, you can see them, looks like they're walking arm in arm with these two guys. They were headed towards the western side of the beach where the alleged incident took place. Now check out this video and then listen to what they have to say about it.
Refused to let us see a U.S. physician or a carnival physician.
Refused to let us have a kit done immediately. Made us go to the bathroom.
Guys, they wouldn't even give us a kit after we had been. They refused. They made us go to the bathroom and use toilet tissue, and they collected toilet tissue as their specimens.
And then they did an alcohol test on us like we were just super drunk. We had hardly any alcohol in our system at all.
Well, the resort says that their EMS offered medical assistance to both of the girls, but they declined and even signed a waiver. And then they left for the cruise ship in a private vehicle. But knowing the gravity of the incident, their officers boarded the cruise ship, providing an SA kit and hospital form to the ship's medical doctor. So that's completely different than what the girls are saying. And just to throw in there, there is now a GoFundMe with a 10,000.
That's what it is. They want money, right? They're doing the same thing as the brick lady girl. So they don't care about it, right? They're like, oh yeah, but they want to be believed. So, oh yeah, we didn't offer some. They didn't want it though. They lied lying on that. The reason why they're lying is they want to pull you along, and they're playing it with their faces. Yeah, nobody wants to help us, but they have the proof. The evidence is there. The proof is in the pudding.
$1 goal. Apparently, it's to help raise money for medications that they need that help prevent certain diseases.
So there you have it, the modern Western feminist woman, which generally most of the Western women today are indoctrinated with some level of feminism. It is a sliding scale. Okay. It is a scale. Not every woman is at the same level of feminism, but there is this indoctrination. When it suits them, they will use their tears to hurt a man. They will use their tears to save themselves. I have countless number of stories that are out there that I have done research on. I have highlighted a few on my channel, even talking about Matt Ariza and several other even celebrity type of men that this has happened to. No man is safe. When the Western woman is something that she wants, she's going to do whatever it takes to get it from you. And now they're even having laws now where they're on campuses, some campuses that they're promoting that if a woman can actually withdraw consent. So if she's, I think up to a week that she has to withdraw consent. So that if you sleep with her and she decides, well, I didn't like how it went. I didn't like the way he treated me. He didn't kiss my butt afterwards, blah, 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 whatever. She just changes her mind. She can now withdraw consent, even if consent was given at the time, even if there was a witness to consent. And then you can then be charged. You can then be kicked off of campus. This is how crazy and antagonistic this world has gotten towards men. And while there are stories like this where women have really been victimized, it is sad that they promoted these women without having strong evidence that something happened. They allowed these women to just tell their story without any evidence, any type of investigation being done. They were just allowed, they called the news stations to promote this and wanted to warn other women in case they're going and blah, blah, blah. And then now they wonder why men, you can't believe all women anymore because of women like this, females like this, disgusting females that if they're lying, which it looks like the evidence is showing that they're lying, according to the cruises. Now, of course, the investigation has to finish, so we don't have the thing. But this alleged situation that happened, that they claim happened, now we're seeing that not only the cruise line, but the Bahamian professionals, the authorities, they're saying that they're lying, that they're making this up, that the evidence shows something completely different than their timeline. And we know if a woman has been getting bussed down by BBC in one of these countries, she has to come home and face the consequences of her sins, face the consequences of what she's done. It could be that she caught a disease. It could be her own conscience, whatever it is, but somehow she has to be a victim. And of course, some poor simp is going to believe that she was, whether there's evidence of it or not. So guys, I'm really upset about stories like this because I know women personally this happened to my mother at 14. And so I'm an advocate for, against SA and all of that, against men and women and especially children. But when we see these stories come out like this, it does nothing but hurt people, and it does nothing but hurt men further and demonize men, when a lot of times the perpetrators of these crimes are actually women. All right, guys, leave a comment below. And
yeah, guys, that's the video. But what gets me is women do this, right? And what it does, it paints that narrative. Imagine if technology was the way it was in the 80s, right? There was barely any cameras in the 80s and early 90s. They started bringing them around a lot more around mid 90s going to later 90s, but early 90s, 80s, barely any cameras. So imagine that was the resort in the 80s. Imagine this same thing happened in 1985. And what would have happened to those two gentlemen, right? They were only fired because you can clearly see what they were doing wrong. Of course, they shouldn't have been walking with the girls like that, accompanying them wherever they were going, right? They were out of line for that. But imagine you can't see it. It's all up in the air. It's whatever they're saying. So they go out there, go on a girls trip, get pregnant, which a lot of times happens, bring it home to the husband. I don't think that happened, but bring it home to the husband, bring a baby home to the husband, which happens a lot. With a lot of men being blamed for being the father. A situation like that could happen, a disease, anything. And now that's what's going on. Those guys are in jail. The other guys are taking care of babies, or, abortions that happen. It's crazy. But you guys already see, this is what gives modern women a bad name from women like these doing what they do. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to go check out Melanie King. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Peace out.
You give me ice and fire. You're giving me